You're listening to Business Podcasting Made Easy, the Influencer's Formula, where you get a roadmap to instant authority and thought leadership with a podcast that you're proud of. We're listening on the IBGR radio network. This is episode number 50. And today we're talking about Be Heard with a podcast that people can't stop listening to. I'm Donna Cundy, co-founder of the IBGR network, radio authority, and podcast expert, and producer of over 14,000 podcasts.
And I'm Ben Joya, three-time international best-selling author, podcast host, and global radio shows host as well, thanks to the IBGR network. My teachings have reached more than 50,000 people worldwide, thanks to leveraging my books. So we're going to teach you about that stuff. We've been teaching you about that stuff, and it applies to your book and to your podcast. So we are your partners on this journey. We're at the tail end of this journey, and we help you get your podcast done 13 minutes at a time in just 13 weeks. Or if you go buck wild and take the next step with us, you can get your book and podcast done in 20 weeks. And that there is no joke. So remember to follow the plan at influencersformula.com and skip to the chase, reach out to us at IBGR.info, and let's make it happen together, because winning the podcast game starts on the inside and comes through your story and through your voice. Welcome to the show.
Did you just say a book and a podcast in 20 weeks?
I said a book and a podcast in 20 weeks, 20 weeks, less than 6 months. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, thank you very much.
Yes, that is super incredible, following the formula. And why is this important? Well, become a person worth listening to with the right mindset, presence, and voice that translate directly into your podcast and your book. Getting it out into the world, it can be a little scary, I think. Getting you out into the world, I'm not scared to put you out there, Ben, but I might be a little bit afraid to put myself out there, right? And that's why we're doing this. That's why we are creating this platform and this resource and this formula to make it easier.
Exactly. Yeah, it's amazing what roadmaps, formulas, let's use the word formula because that's the official word, right, can do to allay and deal with fear. Right? It's like, oh, I'm feeling fear. Follow the formula. Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with the fear. I mean, it doesn't necessarily feel good, right? But you don't have to just curl up in a ball and eat a tub of ice cream, right? You can just go back and follow the formula. And that's what we're offering here. And, it's really about becoming a person worth listening to with the right mindset, the right presence, and a voice that translates directly into your podcast and into your book. Right. So starting from the inside, coming to the outside, mapped through this formula and translated right into content that's going to change your life and the lives of the people that you serve.
Right. Because it's so important to show up consistently and authentically for your listeners and for yourself so that you can have the greatest impact. I have a personal belief. There's other people that buy into this idea as well, that each of us has a purpose on this earth, and that we're given our own unique journey so that we can figure it all out and then share it with others. And I know that Joseph Campbell wrote about the hero's journey way back when, but it's a tale as old as time. Well, I just took that from somebody, but I think every one of us has that amazing story within us that will help others on their journey, but only if we're able to communicate that, only if we're able to share it with others. And
absolutely.
No, go ahead.
No, after you. Thank you. No, and that's why, as part of the formula and all part of the components that we're teaching is, navigating things like fear in the context of your podcast, and not listening to that little inner voice that's trying to sabotage you, right? Not listening to the incessant chatter in your head. And there's a secret that I love.
What do you think you're doing?
Exactly. How dare you? Right. Yeah. And I love this secret, and it's not a secret, right? Because I'm going to say it to everyone right now around the world in 183 countries right now. It's only scary until you do it, right? So if you want to stop being scared about something, just do it. Yeah. And then you stop being scared because then you're doing it, right? So just do it and just do it 13 minutes at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't have to do it alone. That's the thing. There's a community of supporters. We're part of that. We want to see you succeed. And so sometimes it is reaching out. It is always doing the unsexy podcast success factors. It is always that. And sometimes it's the accountability that is needed. You need the support partners, the accountability partners. But when you take time to prepare, you can show up a little bit differently behind the mic. When you keep in mind Parkinson's law, that the amount of time you give to something is the amount of time that you need, then time management, I'm doing air quotes, will fall into place and it will work for you. And Ben, you have a secret method?
Yeah, I don't I don't work with volume of activity. I just limit my time. So it's a variation on Parkinson's law, right? Just this is all I got to do the thing. So I'm just going to get it done, period, because I want to go to bed or have my weekend or have the rest of my life to enjoy.
Yeah. And the beauty about the 15-minute or the 13-minute being the 13-minute mentor is that if you have 15 minutes, you can record a show. That's not a lot of time that you need for that. When in doubt, follow the roadmap. We've laid it all out for you. We've laid every single step of the way out for you. 52 episodes that is everything that leads up to getting behind the mic, how to get behind the mic, and then what to do after you're behind the mic for the marketing piece. We've laid it all out for you in 13 weeks and 15 episodes.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I mean, if you really want to go crazy, you could sit down and listen to all 52 episodes from us in a single day, right? I'm not recommending do that, right? Because you do want to implement bit by bit by bit, because that's the whole deal with 13 minutes at a time. But you can get it done that quickly. And it's important to keep that perspective. Like I remind people in my book writing process, like if you do what I'm saying, if you map everything out, you can have your book done in 2 hours.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Right. And it's the same kind of leverage that we're looking to teach and invite you to experience for yourself through this process.
I love that you said that, because binge listening to Donna and Ben is only less than 13 hours.
Totally. Yeah, I think it's like 10 and change. I did the math at one point.
Yeah. Script or not to script. That's a big one. That's a big one I hear a lot of time. Do I script it out? Do I read it? We say that you can script it, you can not script it. And there's also option C. We like option C, where you script out just enough so you get all the key elements. You definitely want to script out the calls to action. If you're not quite sure what that looks or sounds like, again, a call into IBGR.info for more direct support. We're here to help. We're here to help through that process.
Yeah, because our friend Martin Sheen, the actor, he reminds us that the line between spontaneity and stupidity can be very thin. Yeah. So get help. Get help. Right. And it's important because you want to be able to communicate clearly and still sound authentic. Right. And, toe the line between spontaneous and planned out so you can get it done in 13 minutes at a time. This is what it's all about. And part of that is to be able to speak on a podcast and know what you're talking about, but not sound like you're reading from a script, because that totally screws it up, right? You want to be authentic because that's absolutely critical for building trust. You want to be relatable, and you want to sound professional and confident, but not stuffy, right? Think back to the fireside chat.
Yeah, exactly. Just sounding human. Sometimes you and I would like just words they don't come out exactly. That doesn't mean we don't know what we're talking about. It just means that we are choosing to produce live podcasts, the podcast lives, where you get to hear you hear the 13 minutes. It's not produced. You're hearing very authentic what Donna and Ben are talking about on our fireside chat. Stories. Adding stories are so important too, though, because sometimes, especially with business podcasting, business owners can get so caught up in the passion work of, I want to teach you how to do this, that they forget to add the stories in there. But the stories They say facts tell, emotions sell. 100% true. You can tell a story in as little as 6 words. Ben, you proved that with John Kurtz.
Yep. John Kurtz wrote this great 6-word story. Kentucky trash heap yields unexpected flour, right? So you can do a lot in a little space. Make sure you make use of stories, right? Your signature story, your message success moments, detours, successes themselves, case studies, testimonials, an interesting thing that happened to you last week, your purpose, your principles, how you make transformation and results happen, right? All of that stuff contributes to cultivating that knowing, that liking, that trust, that, you as that authority, those psychological factors of influence, right? All the things that coming together, I like to call them your special sauce, right? Because we are, as Will Durant says, we are what we repeatedly do. So excellence is not an act, but it is a habit. And that makes it a whole hell of a lot easier than a lot of people think.
Yeah, so true. So true. It's just really about using your voice effectively, about being yourself, not showing up with the radio voice that, sometimes you hear me in doing our introduction, but I always start out with a smile and a laugh because that's part of my special sauce. I want to put people at ease and I want them to lean in and continue to connect. And so using your voice effectively does not always mean proper enunciation on every single word. You can give depth and dimension to what you teach by using your voice right. Yes. But first and always the basics, like the cough button and on your microphone, very important. You never want to cough on people. Be aware of the ums, be aware of your key phrases, what that you use a lot, because you want to just add variety and dimension as you're going in there. And finally, you want to build an audience of engaged listeners for your podcast and just keep speaking to a dozen or so people, bringing them in, having one-to-one conversations. Don't think that because you're a podcaster now that people will just come flocking to you. They will eventually, but you want to continue to cultivate. It's time to make sure that you're on the right track for your content and your clients by having those conversations. And you know what, Ben? Our conversation is about up here. We have to end this one. This is building success habits. No, this is business podcasting made easy. The influencers formula, episode 50, be heard with a podcast that people can't stop listening to. I'm Donna Cundy.
And I'm Ben Joya. Thank you for listening.